Sketches of MD refers to Miles Davis. I had the opportunity of working with Miles Davis for about 5 years and a half. And this title track, I actually took like pieces of that experience. The first tune, The Ring, is actually a representation of some of the members, for example, John Coltrane. The second one is actually myself, Intro to Africa. Sketches of MD is for Miles Davis. Wayne's Thing is for Wayne Shorter. And Happy People was actually for Herbie Hancock in an indirect way. The first thing is I was trying to document Pharoah Sanders and I. We play together a lot, and I wanted to put some music down. Not with the idea of a live CD, but just to document it. And then the live CD kind of came later. The story is in itself about the relationship that I have with Pharoah, the relationship that I have with Miles Davis. You know, the influences of the musicians who played with Miles. You know, that's what Sketches of MD is about. My fans have always wanted to hear me do a live CD. The audience didn't know that we were recording. The band knew, but they didn't know. So it wasn't like, because sometimes when you know that you're being recorded, you can freeze. So the engineer was kind of tucked away, and people didn't really know what was going on. We were just playing the music. I didn't want it to feel like, you know, we're trying to document ourselves, that people had to know, or we had to know. Just forget about that and just let the music happen. And that's what we did. Pharoah is my friend, first and foremost. He's my mentor. We have this relationship where when he's in town playing, I go and sit in with him. If I'm in town someplace playing and he hears about it, he'll come and sit in with me. But our relationship actually started maybe in 87, around 87, 88, when I was playing at Kimball's East. Pharoah came out and he said, I'm here to see Kenny Garrett. I was behind the curtain. He didn't know that I heard. And I was like, wow, Pharoah Sanders came to hear Kenny Garrett, you know. So that's when it started. So probably around, I'd say 87, 88. What I like about Pharoah is that, you know, the more we have a relationship, the more I start to understand him as a person. I think in a lot of ways we have similarities. He understands where I'm coming from and I understand where he's coming from. And I think, you know, he's opened up to me a lot about John Coltrane. You know, sometimes, you know, the older generation of musicians, they don't open up as easily as the younger musicians. And I think for Pharoah, for him to allow me in, you know, to understand John Coltrane. He stood on the bandstand with John Coltrane. You know, I stand on the bandstand with Pharoah Sanders. You know, to me, it's great, you know, to have a friend, you know, and a mentor. You know, we mentor each other, but still, he's my mentor because I love the organic way he plays. I mean, in the younger generation, we're about playing a lot of notes. He's about playing a sound and making it mean something. So there's a lesson that I learned every time we're playing. You know? Of course, we know we have the great Pharoah Sanders on the tenor saxophone. We have Nat Reeves on the bass, who's actually been with me for, oh man, we came to New York together, you know. And so he's played on so many of my CDs, so he's been my backbone, you know. You have Benito Gonzalez, who's a young and up-and-coming piano player. People have to look out for him. He's going to make some noise. He's from Venezuela, and he's only played with me for about a year. And then there's Jemiah Williams, who comes from this Houston string of drummers. Jemiah is another guy we've got to look out for too. You know, he's really making some noise. The Ring was actually a composition or an idea. I remember I was at Pharoah's house just hanging out, and we were practicing these overtones. On the saxophone, you have overtones. And so I came up with this kind of snippet, you know, for melody. And so Pharoah said, why don't you work on that? And so I went back and I kind of worked on it a little bit. I called Pharoah, it wasn't quite there. And so when we decided to record, that was one of the pieces that I put together, you know, for the CD, which is the first track, you know, The Ring. The second one, which is Intro to Africa, was another tune that I was thinking about, you know, just from a black experience. Because when you think about the first part of it, it's really gospel. Then as it goes into a part that's more like a jukebox. You know, when people used to listen to jukebox, they say, oh, this is my song, that's my song. And it goes to that. And also there's another section that goes to Africa. So I'm connecting all of it. It's not only African American, it's the whole black experience. And so when I played this song at the sound check for Pharoah, he almost lost his mind. He started singing. And so that's how the singing came about. Sketches of MD is, you know, that one's actually a little sentimental for me because, you know, my experience with Miles Davis for 5 years and a half, you know, to play with a great like that and to absorb all of this information. And so what I tried to do is to let people hear that that was part of my history. You know, a lot of times when I'm playing, people hear the Coltrane influence, but they don't really hear the Miles Davis influence. So that was just a little bit of them, the pieces of that, for them to hear the different melodies. It wasn't about how much saxophone I'm playing, about how many melodies, different melodies I could play. Wayne's Thing is a song that I wrote for Wayne Shorter, which Wayne has this way that he phrases on the saxophone, and he goes like, oh. So I wrote a tune, so I'm using Wayne's inflection for this song. You know, the last song, which is Happy People, is another one that people just love. You know, and I travel the world. You know, I've been to Japan, to Korea, you know, to Europe. And when I get to this song, there's something about the song that brings people. It brings, you know, this. I guess it just, they can't control themselves. There's something in this song, you know. I guess it's for the happy people. And if you're not happy people, by the time you come out, you'll be happy people. You know. But I love to perform live because the audience gives you energy back. I mean, we're giving a lot of energy. And so what I'm trying to do, I want the audience to know that it's okay. If you feel something, you can shout out. You know, if you feel something, you want to get up and dance, that's fine too. It's just, we're here, you know, for them to have a good time and forget about their problems if they have any. You know, but just have a good time. You know, Iridium is a club that I probably in the last maybe 4 or 5 years, I was looking for a new home because I used to go play at another club in New York, and that was my home. So once I moved uptown, I wanted to, you know, find another place. So when I got to the Iridium, they welcomed me with, you know, open arms, and I went in, I started performing with my band a lot, and then with different bands. So it became like, you know, my home. I'm influenced by just by life, really. I mean, I try to listen to any style of music possible. I mean, because I'm always searching, and I don't want to stay in one place. So I listen to hip hop, I listen to classical music, I listen to Middle Eastern music, I listen to Chinese, Japanese, anything, Turkish music, I listen to everything, and I try to draw from that what I'm looking for. My experience with Miles was a little different than a lot of people. I was there the last five years of his life. And there was a lot of respect and love that he showed me. I mean, if you've seen some of the footage of like me playing Human Nature, during that time, people didn't give, you know, a saxophone player, you know, 15-minute solos, 10-minute solos. So for me, it was a lot of respect, you know, for him to say, okay, go ahead. You know, this is my platform, but I want you to show people. But I think the thing that sticks in my mind about Miles is that he really taught me how to just be myself. You know, regardless of what the critics think about, you know, your music, about you, just be who you are. And so that was one of the biggest lessons, you know, that I learned from Miles, just to be Kenny Garrett. And that's what I do. I play my music and try to find it. And, you know, sometimes it takes a little longer for people to understand it. But I think once they get it, then everything's all right. All jazz doesn't sound like this. This is a Kenny Garrett experience, you know, and so this is what this is. This is a Kenny Garrett experience, so I think everyone should have an opportunity to hear it.